What if I told you that millions of people living in the United States could be forced to leave the country by 2025? Sounds unbelievable, right? But this could soon become a reality. On January 20th, 2025, President Trump signed a series of executive orders that could completely reshape the U.S. immigration system. These aren't just small changes. They're massive, sweeping reforms that could uproot lives, tear families apart, and redefine what it means to be an American. In this video, we'll break down these shocking new policies and what they mean for immigrants, families, and the future of America. Stay tuned, because this is going to be a roller coaster. Let's start with the most controversial policy. The new executive order aims to reinterpret the 14th Amendment to limit birthright citizenship. If your parents are undocumented or in the U.S. on a temporary visa, you may no longer automatically qualify for U.S. citizenship just because you were born here. This policy could affect thousands of children born in the U.S. every year, stripping them of their rights and creating a new class of stateless individuals. Imagine this: a child born in a U.S. hospital, raised in an American neighborhood, speaking English as their first language, and suddenly being told they're not a citizen. This policy doesn't just affect future births, it could also apply retroactively, meaning children who are already U.S. citizens might lose their status. Critics argue this is unconstitutional, as the 14th Amendment clearly states that anyone born on U.S. soil is a citizen. But the Trump administration claims it's necessary to protect the value of American citizenship and prevent what they call anchor babies. This policy could create a ripple effect, impacting schools, healthcare systems, and even the economy. Families might be forced to leave the country, and children who've never known any other home could be deported to countries they've never even visited. Next up, the administration is cracking down on national security. President Trump has directed officials to ramp up vetting processes for foreign nationals entering the U.S. This means stricter background checks, more scrutiny on visa applications, and even the possibility of visa bans for countries that don't meet U.S. information sharing standards. But here's the scary part: if your home country doesn't provide enough data about you, your visa could be revoked, even if you're already living in the U.S. Imagine working legally in the U.S. for years, paying taxes, and building a life, only to be told you have to leave because your government didn't share enough information with the U.S. This policy could lead to a massive wave of deportations and visa denials, leaving countless families in limbo. For example, countries with poor record-keeping or strained diplomatic relations with the U.S. might see their citizens banned entirely. This could disproportionately affect people from developing nations, where governments may not have the resources to meet U.S. standards. Remember Trump's famous border wall? It's back and bigger than ever. This executive order mandates the construction of a physical wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, supported by advanced surveillance technology and additional Border Patrol agents. But that's not all. The policy of catch and release, where migrants were allowed to stay in the U.S. while awaiting court hearings, is officially over. Now, anyone caught crossing the border illegally will be detained until they're deported. This means overcrowded detention centers, longer wait times, and harsher conditions for migrants. Plus, the Remain in Mexico policy is back, forcing asylum seekers to wait outside the U.S. while their claims are processed. This could lead to a humanitarian crisis, with thousands stranded in dangerous conditions. Many of these individuals are fleeing violence, persecution, and poverty in their home countries, and now they're being told to wait in areas where they're at risk of kidnapping, extortion, and even death. The Trump administration is taking a hardline stance on immigration enforcement. This order reverses previous policies that relax deportation rules and instructs federal agencies to prioritize removing unauthorized immigrants. This means more ICE raids, more deportations, and more families torn apart. For example, a parent who's lived in the U.S. for decades, paying taxes and raising children, could suddenly be deported, leaving their family behind. The administration is calling it a necessary step to protect Americans, but critics argue it's a return to the harsh immigration policies of Trump's first term. The emotional toll of these policies cannot be overstated. Children are being separated from their parents, spouses are being split up, and communities are being destabilized. This isn't just about immigration, it's about the fabric of American society. The U.S. has long been a safe haven for refugees fleeing war and persecution, but that could change under this new order. Refugee admissions are being temporarily suspended while the government reassesses the program. This means fewer refugees will be allowed into the U.S., leaving many vulnerable people stranded in dangerous situations around the world. For example, a family fleeing war-torn Syria or political persecution in Venezuela might now find themselves with nowhere to go. The suspension also raises questions about America's role as a global leader. For decades, the U.S. has been a beacon of hope for those seeking a better life. But with this policy, that legacy is at risk. In a dramatic move, the Trump administration has expanded the military's role in securing the border. U.S. Northern Command will now be responsible for repelling invasions, including mass migration and trafficking. This could mean more troops, more drones, and more military operations along the border. While the administration claims it's necessary to protect national security, critics worry about the militarization of immigration enforcement and the potential for human rights abuses. For example, military personnel are not trained to handle humanitarian crises, and their presence could escalate tensions at the border. This policy blurs the line between national defense and immigration enforcement, raising serious ethical and legal questions. To top it all off, President Trump has declared a national emergency at the southern border. This gives the administration sweeping powers to allocate resources and personnel to secure the border. It also paves the way for the construction of additional barriers and the deployment of armed forces. The administration argues this is necessary to stop illegal crossings and drug trafficking, but opponents see it as an overreach of executive power. Declaring a national emergency allows the government to bypass Congress and redirect funds from other programs, such as disaster relief or military construction projects. This could have far-reaching consequences, not just for immigration, but for other critical areas of governance. These new immigration rules are some of the most drastic changes to U.S. policy in decades. They could force millions to leave the country, separate families, and redefine what it means to be an American. Whether you support these policies or not, one thing is clear: the U.S. immigration system is about to undergo a seismic shift. What do you think about these changes? Are they necessary for national security, or do they go too far? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who might be affected by these new rules. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.